Today we'd like to welcome a new sponsor to the Andrew Klavan Show, the Clinton Foundation. When you look around at the troubles of the world, do you ever wish you could do something to relieve the suffering of the poor, bring an end to violent conflicts, and ensure important food and medicines get to those who are in need? Well, get over it, and instead give your money to the Clinton Foundation, where you can increase the Clintons' personal wealth in return for government favors. With just a small, tax-deductible donation of $1 million, you'll receive an attractive Clinton Foundation tote bag, plus an invasion of any island nation of your choice. Is there some offshore tax shelter where a gang of freedom-loving rebels is threatening to cut you off from your hard-earned savings? Well, the next time you carry that attractive bag to Zabar's to buy your artisanal bread, all your friends will know that you had the patriotism to support our armed forces as they risk their lives to keep that island's financial institutions free to serve people like yourself. For a tax-deductible donation of $2 million, you get the tote bag, an original cast recording of Hamilton, plus Hillary Clinton will stand in the rubble of an impoverished nation racked by earthquakes and famine and shake her head sympathetically, while pocketing your money to further her search for power. What a feeling of satisfaction you'll have as you look at the starving children of a place like Haiti and know that your dollars are hard at work helping Hillary satisfy her maddeningly compulsive lust for high office. Next time your heartstrings are touched by the story of a woman who endured the humiliation of her husband's infidelity only to endure the humiliation of being defeated in a presidential primary by an unqualified upstart only to endure the humiliation of struggling to keep a lead over an outrageous candidate like Donald Trump, you'll be able to say yes, the children of Haiti are still starving, but at least Hillary feels better about herself. And isn't that what really matters? So, you may say, well, that's great, but what do I get for $3 million? I'm glad you asked. For $3 million, you get the tote bag, the original cast recording of Hamilton, plus 2 tickets to the Kennedy Center's annual celebration of American artists who've given money to Democrats. Not only that, but you'll also get to hear Hillary Clinton deliver a speech about helping the little guy, even while she passes regulations that make it almost impossible for the little guy to challenge your entrenched corporate interests. Why pay your corporate attorneys for nothing when you can pay them to cut the red tape that you lobbied to have put in place in order to destroy any competition who can't afford your lawyers? Finally, for a donation of $5 million, you get the tote bag, the album, the Kennedy Center tickets, and we'll kill the guy who's sleeping with your wife. The Clinton Foundation, where your money makes government work for you. Trigger warning, I'm Andrew Klavan, and this is The Andrew Klavan Show.
I feel hunky-dunky, life is tickety-boo. Birds are winging, also singing hunky-dunky-doo. Ship-shaped, ipsy-topsy, the world is zippity-zing. It's a wonderful day, hurrah, hooray! It makes me want to sing. Oh, hurrah, hooray! Oh, hooray, hurrah!
Wow, this week flew by. I think it was because of Halloween and everything. It just went right by. We're going into the last Klavanless weekend before the election. Anything can happen. I got to say, we have an amazing interview, what I hope will be an amazing interview, with a really fascinating guy who is going to tell you a story you have not heard here in America, but it is a story about a warning about what could be happening here. So you want to stay tuned for that, but you got to be at the Daily Wire if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. We're going to cut you off ruthlessly at the 15-minute mark, and the interview will come on after that. If you subscribe, you could watch the whole thing at the Daily Wire, but don't let me steal your lousy $8. Speaking of lousy amounts of money, my memoir, The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ, is on ebook sale for $2.99, and people are really reacting strongly to the book. You can see the reviews on Amazon, but it's only $2.99 for a limited time only. Great World Series. Great postseason altogether. Austin, we have to congratulate Austin Stevens, our engineer. Hey, he's got the Cub hat and he's an actual Chicago person, so we allow him to wear his Cub T-shirt to work today. It was amazing, and I have to say, I'm a Yankees fan from way back. And what happens to me is when I'm out in California, I can't really watch the Yankees games because they're on odd times, so I kind of lose interest. I lose track of baseball a little bit. So I wasn't really rooting for anybody, but I have to say, I was sitting there. I was rooting for Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks, I think, I can't think of anybody who even comes close to being the greatest player who never played in a World Series. and he only died like last year, I think, Ernie Banks. And he was Mr. Cub, one of the great players, one of the great personalities. So I'm sure he was watching, and I'm not sure heaven can get better, but I think it would have been a nice day for and he caused the rain delays. That is going to go down in baseball history. That rain delay. I mean, this is. Anyway, it's all 2016, folks, and 2016 is just getting 2016 year every single day. This is the latest news. This is incredible. The FBI, I think, is now in open revolt. I think these field agents, these are tough G men, and like a lot of times we talk about all the corruption in government and all the bad guys who are at the top of government, but there are a lot of good people in government, and what I think is happening now is they have just had it. I think these guys, these Humphrey Bogart guys who are on the street level, are looking up at this corrupt Justice Department and saying, hey, we investigate corruption for a living. You can't stop us. So Fox News breaks the story. I'm going to let them tell it because it's their exclusive story. Bret Baier had this to say. This is his opening. Yeah.
Breaking news tonight. Two separate sources with intimate knowledge of the FBI investigations into the Clinton emails and the Clinton Foundation tell Fox the following. The investigation into the Clinton Foundation, looking into possible pay-for-play interaction between Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Foundation, has been going on for more than a year, led by the White Collar Crime Division, Public Corruption Branch of the Criminal Investigative Division of the FBI. The Clinton Foundation investigation is a, quote, very high priority. Agents have interviewed and re-interviewed multiple people about the Foundation case, and even before the WikiLeaks dumps, these sources said agents had collected a great deal of evidence. Pressed on that, one source said, quote, a lot of it, and there is an avalanche of new information coming in every day. Some of it from WikiLeaks, some from new emails. The agents are actively and aggressively pursuing this case, and they will be going back and interviewing the same people again, some for the third time. As a result of the limited immunity deals to a number of top aides, including Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson, the Justice Department had tentatively agreed that the FBI would destroy those laptops after a narrow review. We are told definitively that has not happened, and those devices are currently in the FBI field office here in Washington, D.C., and are being exploited.
So those of you who have been listening to the show knew this was coming, right? Because this show is like listening to the future. It's like that. It's like that thing. What is it? Frequency. That movie Frequency, where you call up and you're hearing the past, or you're hearing the future. We have been telling you for probably a year that the real story here is not the classified documents, because accidentally exposing the classified documents, which would get you and me put in jail, is not enough to put somebody as powerful and entrenched as Hillary Clinton in jail. James Comey was basically telling the truth when he said, we can't nail her on this. I think that was right. Yes, we all looked at that and said, wait, she broke the law. We can read what the law says and she broke it. But you just can't get somebody that powerful on something that obscure because she didn't go to the Russians and say, here's our nuclear secrets, pay me for them. But influence peddling, taking money, taking donations, and then doing favors for people, that's different. And that's the story that the FBI on the ground level has been trying to investigate. And the Wall Street Journal today has also broken a story, because what's happening now is these guys have had it and they're talking to journalists behind the scenes. The Wall Street Journal broke a story on their front page today, basically saying that these field agents have been fighting the smothering influence of our blandly sinister Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who basically keeps trying to shut this down, but can't quite come out. They can't quite come out and say, shut the investigation down. And so the article ends with one of the field agents saying to the Justice Department, are you telling me to shut this down? And, them saying, no. We can't tell you that. So they can't. So they're investigating this influence peddling, even though the Justice Department keeps saying there's no there there. Later on Fox, Bret Baier went and talked to Bret and Brit, the two last TV journalists in America. It's like watching the island of lost TV journalists. This is what he said. This is stunning.
Two sources say it has not been easy. They have not. It has not been a smooth process. They believe that they are moving forward effectively now, but there has been some angst about Attorney General Loretta Lynch and what she has done or not done. She obviously did not impanel or go to a grand jury at the beginning. They also have a problem, these sources do, with what President Obama said today and back in October of 2015.
Yeah, we're going to get to that later on, and that he downplayed it, and today he said something that suggests that he's changed his tune a bit about Director Comey. This does not sound like something that's going to be completed anytime soon, which suggests that if Hillary Clinton is elected, she will take office with not one but two serious investigations of her past conduct hanging over her.
Definitely. And I pressed again and again on this very issue. And these sources said, yes, the investigations will continue. There's a lot of evidence. And barring some obstruction in some way, they believe they'll continue to likely an indictment.
Wow.
Wow is right. Likely, this is like we're going to get a pre-impeached president. You know, it's good. It's going to come pre-impeached, and you know it's going to be a real issue because the House likely stays with the Republicans, and that's where the impeachment process starts. You get tried. The impeachment is just like an indictment. You get tried in the Senate, and there's no way they're going to have. It takes 2/3 of the Senate to convict, so there's just no way that's going to happen. They're not even sure the Republicans will keep the Senate. On the other hand, it is possible that the evidence piles up to the point where these guys have to go back to their state, and they can't go back to their state, you know, and say, we're just so corrupt, we're going to keep the president in place. You know, it does happen. I mean, that's what happened to Nixon. Now, of course, the Republicans have integrity. You know, it's not a lot, but we have some integrity. I mean, as we see from the fact that we are disturbed by Donald Trump, you know, and all the things that he's done that don't fit in with what we think a president should be like. We are disturbed by them. Democrats, so help me, they look at Hillary Clinton and it's like, you know, she's another Democrat. She is, and she's just another Democrat. These guys, machine politics, corruption is the Democratic way. So they were talking about, you heard Bret and Brit. I just love, like, watching them really is like, oh, there's the island of lost TV journalists. You know? It's like these two guys. And they have the same name, you know, it's like very strange. Can that be mere coincidence? I don't think so. But they were talking about Obama now throwing Comey under the bus. Let's just go back in time for a day and see what Josh Earnest, the president's spokesman, said about Comey a couple of days ago.
The president's assessment of his integrity and his character has not changed. For example, the president doesn't believe that Director Comey is intentionally trying to influence the outcome of an election. The president doesn't believe that he's secretly strategizing to benefit one candidate or one political party. He's in a tough spot.
That was then. This was like 48 hours ago. That was then. This is now. Now Obama is suddenly, you know, Obama says outright that he has tried to make sure not to give the appearance. You always have to listen to what Obama says because he really speaks very precisely in some ways. He says he's tried not to give the appearance of getting in the way of the investigation. He didn't say he tried not to get in the way of the investigation. He just said he tried not to give the appearance. But now he changes his tune a little bit.
I do think that there is a norm that, you know, when there are investigations, we don't operate on innuendo, we don't operate on incomplete information, we don't operate on leaks. We operate based on concrete decisions that are made. When this was investigated thoroughly the last time, the conclusion of the FBI, the conclusion of the Justice Department, the conclusion of repeated congressional investigations was that you know, she had made some mistakes, but that there wasn't anything there that was you know, prosecutable.
So he's not quite throwing Comey under the bus, but you know when he's talking about innuendo, I mean this is not innuendo. Just to give the president his due here, these leaks are disturbing in the sense that you don't want the FBI leaking incomplete investigations, leaking information about incomplete investigations, unless it's the only way they can get it out. And I'm sure that's what's happening. Why is it suddenly, you know, Bear and Fox and Wall Street Journal weren't getting these stories before. They were not getting this kind of inside information before. Even Catherine Herridge, who's one of the best, I shouldn't leave her out of the great reporters who are still on TV. You know, they didn't have the sources up till now to say these things. These guys have had it. They have had it. And so when Obama says, well, we don't want to have leaks and innuendo. Yeah, sure, unless that's the only way they can get the information out. And I think we're going to go to the break for a minute. But before we do, I just want to show Donald Trump, who obviously knows he's fallen into hog heaven here, how he's reacting to this, because he's staying very much on message. Just listen to this.
In 6 days, we are going to win the great state of Florida. And we are going to win the White House. Gonna win it. It's feeling like it already, isn't it? Just, we've got to be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right? Stay on point, Donald, stay on point. No sidetracks, Donald. Nice and easy, nice. Because I've been watching Hillary the last few days. She's totally unhinged. We don't want any of that.
I love it. He's talking to himself. The Donald is talking to him. Don't mention the beauty queen, Donald. None of that. No, don't talk about that. Don't talk about, Ted Cruz killing Kennedy. Just stay on. He has to tell himself. All right, we got to say goodbye to our friends on Facebook and YouTube. But come on over to the Daily Wire and hear the rest. We're trying to hook up this interview, and when we do, we will get right to that.